Hello friends, I'm Andy Canode, and 25 years ago today, the episode The Feet of Clay Part 1 premiered for Batman the Animated Series. Folks, I gotta tell you, I'm super excited about today's episode because it features one of my favorite villains, Clayface. This was a two-parter, and this, unlike Cat in the Claw, I feel like was justified to be a two-parter. I didn't know anything about the villain Clayface, although he's been in the comic book since the 40s. I didn't know much about him until I saw this episode. He quickly became one of my favorite villains.
Hagen, listen to me. There is no Hagen. It's only me now. Clayface.
So I'm going to do my quick 30-second rundown of the episode. If you've been watching the episodes earlier, I haven't been doing too well at this. So we're going to put 30 seconds up on the clock and let's see how I do. This episode starts with Bruce Wayne being framed for the attempted murder on Lucius Fox. Then we meet Matt Hagen, an actor who is grossly disfigured and has to use this cream that's developed by Daggett Industries to shape his face back into his normal look. He is addicted to this cream, so he has to keep going back. And Daggett, being a criminal mastermind, has Hagen doing these odd jobs for the mob as a payment to supply him with this cream. And one of those was to frame Bruce Wayne. Part 2, Bruce Wayne gets out of jail as Batman has to go interrogate some of the criminals to see who is doing this, finds out it's Matt Hagen, the actor. By showing some films, he's able to defeat him and he's dead. Or is he? You're Plastic Man, I don't know why, I just always thought that was a cool power to have. And to be able to morph and turn into other people was just always kind of neat. The backstory of Matt Hagen being an actor just played into that. And that was just a really cool overlapping, which I guess in the comic books, there's several different Clayfaces, Clayfaces. And they kind of merged a couple of their different stories to create this version for the animated series.
D-Boy wanted more of this stuff? Then let's give it to him. Oh, not that way. Please! Let's give him all he'll ever need.
Roland Daggett was created for this episode, and then they found uses for him later on. Initially, this was supposed to be Max Schreck, which was the character that was played by, what is his name? Can't believe I can't remember his name. I hate that. It's right on the tip of my tongue. IMDb, where are you? Christopher Walken. Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken in Batman Returns. I guess Tim Burton didn't like the idea of that character being used in the animated series, so the producers created Roland Daggett. He went on to appear in several episodes, spoken by Ed Asner, he has a great voice for this type of mobster character.
I think our Mr. Hagen has outlived his usefulness. I want him dealt with.
Clayface is a tremendous character and is brought to life by the one and only Ron Perlman, who does an absolutely fantastic job and went on to play various other Batman villains in different iterations. I believe he spoke for Killer Croc at one point and Batman. I think he spoke for Batman in one of the games. Let me know if you know what the name of that is.
Come back from this. Face it, Teddy. Matt Hagen has history.
I thought the writing of these two episodes was tremendous. It starts out with that kind of false opening, mysterious what's going on moment with Bruce Wayne meeting up with Lucius Fox. And it sets the story in motion. And you think one thing's happening and then it twists around. As an audience, different elements of the story are being revealed to you as you go. And again, it just reinforces that mystery element that is so unique to this show. Even a lot of some of the other action adventure cartoons didn't have the mystery element.
Bruce, what's going on here?
Let's just say I'm accepting your resignation, Mr. Fox.
I think one of the other appealing aspects of this episode and the character Clayface is his tragic backstory. The producers and writers went to great lengths to create these villains or humanize these villains in such a way that just added depth. They gave him this humanized story that allowed you to connect with him. And you can see why, although he's going about it the wrong way, but you can kind of see where he's coming from and you kind of feel for the character and it draws you that much more into it. The end of the first episode, when Matt Hagen's assistant comes up to the car and sees him, the music that underscores as Clayface looks up into the rearview mirror and you see that hurt, sad look on his face, you feel something. You feel for the character.
What in heaven's name did they do to you?
Another highlight in this episode is the amazing animation. All of the shape-shifting that Clayface goes through when he's both in his dressing room and in the final battle, when he is morphing from person to person. It's not just like a morph or a dissolve or just simple transition. It's an elaborate parts that overlaps and folds into itself. It was just fantastically animated.
Stop it! Turn them off! I can't control it! I can't be all of them! Not all at once!
When Daggett is being interviewed on the television show and the lady comes out of the audience, which I gotta say, that part always creeped me out when the lady would all of a sudden became Clayface and her voice changed to Ron Perlman.
Why don't you show them what an overdose can do, Daggett? Why don't you tell
them about me?
Some of my other random favorite moments of this episode was, one, we got to see the Batwing, which was very closely resembled to the Batwing introduced in the Batman movies. Again, a great tie-in with the Tim Burton. We see some of the creative ways that Batman uses to interrogate people, both with the Batwing and with a jar of crimson fever, so Batman says.
Crimson fever. Lousy way to go. No cure, you know. The name. Now.
So I know I said that I wasn't going to keep doing this, but this episode, these two episodes, absolutely jumped to the top of the list as my favorite episodes. I know we're still early in the season, but I'm willing to guess that this is going to stay in my top 5 at least for a little while anyway. I remember even as a kid that this was one of my favorite episodes, the two-parter.
What in the name of heaven?
Back off!
So that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, give me a like. And if you like what we're doing here, just be sure to subscribe so you can see all the episodes as they come out. Now, of course, tomorrow was when the second part of Feet of Clay came out, so there will not be a new video tomorrow. But be sure to join us on Sunday, September 10th, when we take a look at the episode It's Never Too Late. Thanks again. I'm Andy Canode, and I'll see you on Sunday.